how women pick and choose when they want to be holy or when they want to be holy.
Hold on. Say it again.
I don't like the way women pick and choose when they want to be holy or holy. What's up, everybody? This is HC.
And it's your boy JT.
And you are tuning in to the first episode of Fresh Off the Podcast. Finally. First and foremost, Happy New Year's, everybody out there. JT, how's your New Year been, man?
Happy New Year, man. Like, for real, this is my first time seeing you since the year started.
I know, we gotta do better.
We do. How's my New Year been? Up and down already. Okay. Up and down. Like, I've been... having a lot of, a ton of mental anxiety. Yeah. You know, this is my first time ever being a victim of some sort of depression as a man. And as a black man, it's like, when they say, oh, back is against the wall and you whatever to look, I've definitely been feeling that way. I deactivated my IG. It's been about 3 weeks and I'm probably going to go without it for about another 3 months, to be honest with you, just so I can realign myself, find out who I really am, and do a fresh start. Yep. You know, that's why this podcast is perfect time for us. Perfect time to fresh off in my life. Always. And things that I think that were enabling me to do the wrong things, I had to fresh off it. You know what I mean? I had to fresh off it. So,
fresh off your mind.
Fresh off my mind.
Your body, your spirit.
Come on, I've been in the gym.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Come on. It's time to get right.
It's going up. We going up.
We definitely doing it. But what about you? How's your New Year's?
Man, it's been amazing. I've been blessed.
Okay.
School.
Okay.
Doctorate.
Hey,
it's going to go up. It's going to go up.
Doctor. Hey, listen, I'm telling y'all.
3 years, it's going to go up.
I'm telling y'all. You just remember this day.
From the
I seen when he was fresh meat, you know what I mean? Now he's fresh off fresh on the podcast with it.
For most of y'all that don't know, me and JT know each other from way back AUC
days,
Morehouse, Clark.
Come on,
some good bullshit. Hey, but that's the thing about this show. We're gonna show you guys growth, excellence. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna honestly just keep it fresh with you guys. All the way through. Mm-hmm. You feel me?
All the way through. Nothing is scripted. Nothing is written. Everything is fresh off the dome.
It's organic.
It's fresh off the podcast.
You feel me? 2022
is crazy.
All right.
You know what the topic of 2022 is going to be?
What is it?
Entitlement. Because think about it. COVID has been happening since the end of 2019, right?
Yep.
We're going almost 3 years dealing with it.
That's true.
And since having that, you have so many different dynamics in the world, in the corporate world, and in people's homes and schools. A lot of people feel left out, which has caused a lot of people to feel anger or bitter or alone because the things that were taken away from them, and they didn't appreciate it then. That's true. They want it now, and now they're facing like resentment because they were entitled. They're like, why can't I have this? I deserve this. I should have this. But if you was making the right different moves prior to COVID, a lot of stuff would still be good for you.
That's true. And I think you hit on a good point too. You know, it's put us in a position where we have, COVID has exposed a lot of things. From the government to different social issues, justice. And people are at the point where we are tired of bullshit and we want what we want now.
It's mine and I want it now.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And you can even look at it from relationship standpoint. You can look at it from, from women, right?
Okay.
A lot of women feel like they are entitled to a man's possessions, his earnings, what he has worked hard for. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, as a man, you know what I'm saying? When a woman is like, hey, what can you do for me? And there's no reciprocity, who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying?
What you doing for me? That's crazy, but
that's what I want to do.
And that right there is like the first key of entitlement. Right. The biggest one that I think in today's society most men faces. I'm not gonna say with women because women faces their own, but men faces that type of form of entitlement from women.
Right.
Women definitely, and it's nothing wrong for them looking at their body as a temple and art.
That's true.
But when it comes to I deserve this and that because of sex,
stop it.
No, go back to your ex.
Stop it.
And I'm saying again, when you think you deserve this and that because of sex, go back to your ex. Because it ain't that. That's a bar. I'm gonna say it again. when you think you deserve this and that because of sex, go back to your ex. Why? Because I'm a true believer. Real men, we like to please anyways. So if we're having sex, don't think I'm the only one getting benefits from it.
Thank you.
What I'm saying, as a man, it's my job to please you. I want to please you too. I'm getting the cookies from you. You get Chico stick from me.
Thank you.
We both getting pleased.
Thank you.
So if you using your body as a form of a gift or a something a give and take, that doesn't add up.
And that's more like toxic entitlement.
Toxic entitlement. So it's levels of entitlement.
I think it is, bro.
Well, I'm talking about toxic entitlement.
Let's talk about levels, okay? So when a woman feels like, and women like to use their bodies and say that they're temples, right? Mm-hmm. And then on the other side, they like to use their body for monetary gain. Mm-hmm. Let's say bottle girl, let's say stripper, OnlyFans. We can go there. We gotta go there. You feel me? But listen, I don't like how women pick and choose when they want to be holy or when they want to be hoey.
Hold on, say it again.
I don't like the way women pick and choose when they want to be holy or hoey. And I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. It's confusing to me.
And in fact, we need to put up the definition of hoe on the screen somewhere. Put it up there. Right. Let them read it. You read that again.
Is that a garden tool or is that a female dog?
Come on. What is it? Because I really get that. Because like, we can't pick and choose. I mean, I'm kind of like going to be on the bench with this one because
don't do that.
Something's a sport. Because I was going to say we can't pick and choose how to be approached. Yep. But at the same time, we do it in our culture all the time. We pick and choose when to have somebody. That's like a girl, but like they call each other bitches, but don't want nobody else to call them bitches.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's like saying a girl can be show her body off today, but tomorrow she can't. She does have that right.
She do.
But you can't be mad at one's opinion for how he approach you. Exactly. You can just accept how he approach you.
Right.
But not respect it.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can accept it, but not respect it. Or should I say this? You should respect it, but not accept it. Yeah.
Right.
You're not going to accept it because that's not what you want, but you're respecting that it's his view of you and his opinion of you. Right. But you got to be honest with yourself and realize his opinion is because how you presented yourself.
Right.
He don't just wake up and say, "Oh, Jasmine is a hoe."
Right. Which is not always the best approach.
It's not. It's not.
But in reality, it is one that we can understand.
It is, you know. But that goes to where when women use their bodies and stuff like that, they become entitled of the perks of a man or perks of whoever is penetrating them or using their body. You know,
that's really
it's like, yo, half the time when women do these things with these men, they already want to do it.
Okay, so JT, hold on. So everything you just said right there, completely valid, bro. Okay, I love it. So what did that mean? A man is really entitled to a woman's body? Think about this shit.
It's like a hit or miss. It just depends on. It just depends. Like it's like this. Check it out. If I'm dating someone and she's telling me like, yeah, JT, I just gave you the buns. You got to pay my car note. So now that's like positive reinforcement. Why? Because the buns are good for me. It's positive. So now you program me every time. If I'm paying bills and I'm paying bills because you telling me that you gave me the buns, every time I pay some bills, I feel that I'm entitled for some buns. And if you don't like that, at that point, you got to just fresh off. You have to. You got to fresh off at that point. You got to know when to fresh off. Because if you keep on allowing things to go down that you don't want to happen, you digging yourself in a hole. And you know why that happens? Wow. We skipped the whole negotiation period.
You think so?
What? We never had a conversation. Well, what you want to accept and what you don't. Because if a man tell a shorty straight up the back, like, listen, I'm not paying bills unless we're in a relationship, unless we married or something. That girl can be like, oh, yeah, cool, I don't want to mess with you. Or she can say, or she gonna fresh off. You know that, because the average, most women nowadays don't want to pay no bills. It is what it is. And I'm not mad at y'all for being that way. Just get you a man that can afford to take care of you.
I'm mad at y'all.
I'm not mad at it, because I don't deal with it. I fresh it off. fuck it. I don't deal with it. You know what I mean? But I mean, if you I feel like it has to be some type of balance. And we don't even gotta have that conversation. I'm tired of everyone asking that same question. Who should pay what? Man, pay whatever your family's supposed to do. Pay whatever you got. Whatever you got.
If not, fresh off.
Fresh off. Straight up.
Fresh off.
Up. But in a way, when you say men are entitled to the bodies, I realize being in a relationship, there's still room for growth. And what I mean by that is, you can get so comfortable with someone, be with them for years, and tend to get overly, you can probably have higher expectation, or you tend to be entitled. You know, example, I'm in a restroom, I'm a lady in a restroom, and she's like, I'm trying to talk to her, she's like, I'm using the restroom. Like, I'm trying to talk to you. So no, I don't want to talk right now. I'm like, what you mean? We've been talking in the restroom. Right. I was entitled at that moment. I was entitled. Should I say this is what I'm talking about? You just think you can do whatever, say whatever. But I did think that. And I do think that. But you know what else I can say? I'm not going to put all the blame on them. Because when you date someone, you be around someone for so long, you create certain patterns. Right. You know what I mean? And when you change patterns, it's like, yo, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, all right, my bad. But we still not entitled to everything, because people take entitlement like ownership, bro.
So, would you say entitlement and selfishness go hand in hand? Because it seems like when a motherfucker thinks that they're entitled to something, they are projecting their own selfish ways onto the situation.
I agree with that.
So I feel like
definitely agree with that.
But then again, I ain't even gonna hold you. Yeah. Men are definitely entitled to.
Definitely entitled.
But when they're in a relationship, when there has been the conversation, there has been, like you said, the patterns, I mean, that entitlement is only going to grow from there. That expectation.
It does.
So are we in the wrong?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said no. You don't really put the blame on one person. Because, like, it takes both parties. Right. Because if you don't have that conversation throughout your matriculation in the relationship about what's different about you, because that shit you may want now, you probably didn't want it 5 years. Yeah. You know, you could be dealing with somebody for years, and what you just need to keep elevating as a man is not the same. So you have different expectations. So certain things that one lady may think that she could do around you or is entitled to, she don't get that pleasure.
So, you know what? Audience, based on what you guys have heard just right now with our dialogue, would you guys say that it's okay for a man and a woman to be entitled?
Comment. Make sure y'all comment too.
Below, DM, all that. Sure. Because honestly, I want to know what they think. Because what we're saying may hold some truth.
It may. But we have to make sure we don't misconstrue entitlement and expectations. Like, are they the same things or are they different?
You're right.
You know what I mean? Because expectations just mean like, okay, I've been dating Jasmine for 10 years. Every Sunday, she washes clothes. Okay. So the next Sunday, I'm thinking like, she's washing clothes. I expect her to wash clothes. Why? Because she created the expectation. That's just something I'm used to. Now, I'm not saying if I come home and I'm like, yo, why didn't you wash those clothes? Okay. Now it's like, she's obligated to do it, or like I'm entitled to ask her. I don't feel like that's entitlement. I feel like that's just expectations. You know what I mean? But like, entitlement, I feel, comes when it comes to your actions of another person. Ooh. You get what I'm saying? Like when you're doing something to them or saying something at them and you feel like that is okay, or you have the right to. Right. That's the difference between expectations and entitlement.
I like that difference, that definition you gave. Yeah. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if you just don't know the fucking answer, if you don't know something, just fresh off. Take a step back and fresh off.
And you can fresh off so many different ways. There is no one universal definition to freshing off at all. And y'all gonna learn that throughout the show. But other than that, so what you thinking? What you gonna go home? You gonna write in your book and decide what you're entitled to or not?
I think so. Because right now, I mean, based on what we talked about, I may have been entitled in the wrong ways. But honestly, based on what we talked about, I think I got another perspective.
Because it's different entitlements, though. Like you said, it's toxic entitlement. It's workplace entitlement.
It is.
Like your managers typically, or presidents, dictators, whoever, they typically are entitled or think they are entitled to how you supposed to respond to them because of their leadership. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yep. Or seniority, they think they can walk in a room and not speak. They think they're entitled to sit down and everybody speak to them.
Entitled to your respect. And you gotta earn respect.
They say respect is not given, it's earned.
It is, always. And I've dealt with that on plenty of occasions with my corporation.
I'm still just pondering on that entitlement of one's respect. That's big.
That's it.
Because that right there, that statement is in every genre. Like I'm talking about, that's in church, in school, in work, in relationships, in sports. That's everything. Because that's when it comes to entitlement. When you are entitled to something, because you're selfish, as you stated earlier, you tend to lose respect of the opposite.
You do. And you think you're better than other people.
Yeah.
So when you walk in a room or you walk around other people, you have no respect. You don't have any dignity for those people. You don't care for them the way that you should. So that presents a whole different issue and a problem that can really just disrupt or create some dysfunctionality in that place. Right. And that ultimately just ruins that particular establishment.
And now you got to take it right from the beginning and fresh off.
Exactly.
See that? See how we see where we're going with that? Keep it around. But like speaking of problem and disruption, do you have any advice for the audience or the viewers about dealing with entitlement? How can you control yourself for being entitled, or how do you control yourself when somebody is approaching you with an entitled angle?
I like that question. And what the first thing I would tell somebody is to fresh off. Take a step back, take a deep breath, fresh off. The second thing I would tell them to do is to have an introspective conversation with themselves. Figure out your values, figure out your morals, ethics, and then assess the situation and make sure that you are doing something for yourself that benefits yourself, that is also not harming others. You feel me? But it takes time to really sit down and assess and analyze what's going on in that moment. And then you can kind of put yourself back into that situation and make the best out of, I'll say, a bad or an uncomfortable situation. So it's really steps that one has to take in order to make sure that they are doing the best thing and taking the best approach and maneuvering and navigating in a way that doesn't affect or harm anybody else.
What I'm hearing from you, it seemed like you spoke from the side or the angle of somebody's being approached from an entitled person. It takes a lot of maturity. But it takes even more maturity for the person who is naturally the entitled person, but to sit there and realize, okay, this is what I usually ask for, this is what I usually demand, but to change yourself, to change the dynamic and have an honest inventory of yourself within and realize, like, because you kind of made the points of your morals and values, I added to that, your morals and values, add the wants and need. And when you said make sure you're doing the things for yourself without harming others, that goes for them as well. If you are providing the things that you want and need for yourself first, that'll alleviate you feeling like somebody else is entitled to do those things for you.
For sure.
How are you going to do something? I mean, somebody told me in the past before, I wanted them to do something for me. And my approach, I don't think I was entitled, but I did have expectation. Like, I expect our relationship, how close to you, I expect you to do these things, I want to do these things for me. And I had to realize just because we are close doesn't mean that they are obligated to do certain things. And one day they said something to me, we had this dispute, and it's like, how you gonna get mad at me for not doing something that you're not doing for yourself?
Come on now.
I said, damn, I was entitled. I was entitled. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, like, I wasn't expecting you to say that, but you had a point.
good ass.
You had a point.
But imagine if you were, and just for an example, I think Donald Trump is entitled.
Facts.
And I think his kids are entitled.
Facts.
So imagine growing up in that family dynamic.
That's all you know.
How do you escape being entitled?
I know how. Being human. Being human. Understanding that you are a human and you're no better than the next. Okay. When you on your high horse and you get knocked off, most people that was on the high horse can't handle that.
No.
So I feel like being a celebrity, a multi-billionaire, millionaire, man, take some moment, do some real community service. Do some stuff in the city, go sleep and talk to the homeless. Go be a human for once and realize what it is to live in somebody else's shoes. Once you do that, it'll be easy for you to not be entitled or live out that lifestyle because you know what somebody else's life is. That's kind of like when somebody's mom died. Somebody's son died. Man, my mom ain't never died. Man, my mom has not died. She will go to heaven one day, you know what I mean? But she's still alive now, thank you, Lord. But I would never be the one to say, I know what you're going through. It's bullshit. I ain't going through the same shit you went through. I'll always say I understand the pain that you may be enduring, but I never say I know what you're going through. And I always dislike when people say, I know what you know. You don't. You don't. So I feel like the Trumps, the Gates, you know, all these people, if they can just take a moment and be even if not low class, but a middle class citizen for once, then you would know how it feels to not be entitled.
But how do we judge an individual who's been raised and it has been ingrained in them to be an entitled individual? How do we judge that individual when that's all they know? Can we judge them?
You can judge them.
Okay.
You could judge them and say they don't want to get to know what it's like by their actions. Where you're not in the streets, where you're not doing non-profit programs to help those that doesn't have what you have. You could judge that, but you also can accept them for what they are too. Like certain people, like you have a homeboy. You know they just be stealing from you. But they really are brothers. But you know, man, I just have a brother. I tell him my homeboys, I treat him like my son when we was younger. We older now, so my brother. Well, he used to take from me, he stole from me so many times. Like, why does dude be stealing from me? We like brothers. And I had to realize, it's cool. I accept you for who you are. I just know not to have money or around you. You see what I'm saying? See how I brushed off and maneuver around there?
I see.
You know what I'm saying? I just and went around.
But that just brought me to another point. Our friends can be entitled as well.
Oh, friends be the most entitled.
I got a lot of friends right now who feel like they're entitled to my time, my network, my money. Like, just because I know you. And that ain't never the case. You know what I'm saying? Everything I worked for, I had to get it out of the mud.
And man, that's a conversation for another day, because I can go a day with that one. But friends are typically, I would say friends are the most entitled, but not even friends. Family. Family members are the most entitled.
How you want to go with that one? Now, we could table that, or we can go all night.
Listen.
You got friends and family?
I'm going to keep it short. Friends and family both feel like you owe them something. Family, why? Because you're blood. It's like you're supposed to do it. You should do it. Friends, because y'all was both struggling together. Y'all both was there together. But you got to remember who was there while you were struggling, elevating you to keep going. And even when you made it, or even when you not even made it, but even when you went to another level, who was not the hater? Who was the one that was still continuing to push you? Those are friends that even should feel entitled, but they should be happy. And if they're doing things that they're doing, they're going to be reaping the benefits as well.
Naturally.
Because they're naturally going to do it. You feel me? That's like when you in a relationship, whatever, you know what I'm saying? If I was a smoker, if I'm dating a young lady, 9 out of 10, I'm the lead in the relationship, but sometimes your lady can be the leader. But if she really doesn't want to smoke and she really doesn't want me to smoke, she going to make that clear with her action. And if that's who I want to be with, I naturally going to change. And that's just like friends. We have entitled friends. Like, if you see me doing something and you like what I'm doing, 9 out of 10, I'm not keeping the sauce from you. I'm probably indirectly teaching you things, but want to see what you're going to do with it.
How you going to move, your action.
You know what I mean?
Hey man, you hit on a lot of good points.
No, for sure, you did too, man.
Hey,
I think this is a first good episode. What do y'all think?
And it's a good start too.
Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe.
But it's so much more that we got to do this season.
Come on, I'm ready. I'm ready for this episode already.
I'm ready for it.
All right, fresh off.
Fresh off.
Fresh off.
Hey, listen. Next episode will come out soon. Y'all stay tuned for it. This is HC.
And it's your boy JT. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell at the bottom, put the notifications on. And if you have any specific topics that you would like for us to talk about, feel free to shoot us a DM or just comment below.
Yep. Questions, concerns, and we out. For sure.